So these are kind of new. I will be doing these long form videos. There is no PowerPoints, right? This isn't a reel or anything like that. I just wanted to really talk just open-handedly about certain concepts and things that arise in one's life. And so today I want to touch on navigating soul connections and the whole twin flame concept. Now, this is something that not only has come up in the lives of my clients, but has also come up in my own life as well. Now, the way that I operate in terms of my own belief system and the work I do with everyone is that there is a true inner self that exists or transcends beyond this lifetime and exists in a multi-dimensional nature. And the work that I do is removing and shedding our egoic mechanisms, right? The negative parts of the ego, to come into touch with that true energetic self and to help other people do so as well. Now, through a spiritual awakening or through inner work or just healing or trauma itself, right? These egoic structures begin to shed away and one becomes in greater contact with their true self. And as a result, you can start to have experiences that seem otherworldly, right? That are not of this reality. And one of them is the concept of soul connections. Now, soul connections can exist in many different ways, right? It doesn't have to be romantic, but for the sake of this video, I want to touch on soul connections of a romantic nature. Now, navigating soul connections can be a part of one's process, and it has honestly been a test that I have failed over and over again. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share a little bit of my experiences with them. And this is really just a way to impart on you a perspective, right? What I've encountered, I do not have the answers, right? I am not an oracle, right? And the way that I handle these may or may not resonate with you, all right? But sometimes we can meet another individual and right away, there is just this instant knowing that transcends the linear mind, right? This could even be the concept of love at first sight. It is this inner feeling, right? Emotions, connection can come up almost spontaneously the moment you meet this person, and it can become very confusing, all right? So the first one that I really encountered was when I was in graduate school, and I was engaged at the time. My life was kind of falling apart, and I had met someone, and immediately there was this mutual recognition, okay? And so what was the first thing that I did? I ran away. I ran away and avoided the person as much as I could, and they could do this, and they did the same, right? Because I was engaged, and at that point, I had lived under the egoic narrative that I'm a good guy. This is not something I do, right? And so I tried to just put myself as far away from this person as I could, right? I thought I was doing the right thing at the time. But it was like we kept getting slingshot back together. No matter how much we tried to avoid one another, there was no way. We just keep crossing paths. We could not avoid the feelings, the connection, or whatever else was going on. And so, kind of dived into it. It became an escape, right? The Disney programming, right? The articles online about the twin flames, right? And about how if you meet this type of person, right? This is a 5D love and the 3D, and if you have a family and kids, you have to ignore them because there's a sacred union about to take place. And these things infiltrate your mind, and everything else goes out the window, right? And so I engaged in it. I embraced in it, even while I was in a serious relationship. And I felt in that moment that I was doing the right thing, right? Maybe this is what was supposed to happen. And I had to look at things from another paradigm or perspective. It only took a few weeks for the two of us that had met in graduate school to realize that we were not compatible at all. Soul connection, whatever. it just did not make sense. Our lives were very different. Our values and principles at the time were somewhat different. And so at that point, I already kind of betrayed my partner. I had to go back. I had to tell them I had an emotional affair, and that began the crumbling of my relationship. And maybe that's what was supposed to happen. But here's the thing. I wasn't actually acting in integrity. I was using the connection to escape. I was using the feelings to go into a different time. And instead of dealing with the issues in my current relationship, I just deflected into this new thing. Here's the thing, right? Now, I believe that soul connections can arise for two reasons, okay? You guys are from kind of like the same energetic template. Something in your inner being just resonates with one another. You're cut from the same energetic cloth. You come from the same energetic self, possibly. Or I do believe in reincarnation. I do believe in the notion of past lives. And sometimes you can meet someone that may have possibly been a romantic partner at a different point in time and space. And you're reconnecting to those old feelings and emotions. Love is really something that transcends the dimensions of time and space. But it has to make sense within the context of this current reality, within this current life. And so if you're going through a hard time, if you're going through problems in your relationship, it can be difficult, it can be very easy to escape into the feelings and emotions and whatever else this connection brings up in you. And that's what I did. And I tried to justify it, right, with all the spiritual woo-woo bullshit. But in the end, there was a middle ground, right? You can't run away from the feelings. You can't suppress them. You have to be with them. They're there for a reason. They're there to wake you up to something. They're there to wake up to the love that you can embody towards yourself, right? That there is a greater you, right? It is an experience that can truly wake you up. So you have to embody the feelings, but the answer may not be to react to them. The answer may not be to escape in them. The answer may be to be with them and then slowly approach it and choose how you're going to respond to them. And over time, that was something I lacked, and it cost me dearly. Now, later on, after the dissolution of my old relationship, had another soul connection. Same thing. Instant knowing. Met the person, right? They weren't even into really the concept of soul connections at the point, but the first time we met, right, there was just kind of just the staring. It felt very ethereal. And once again, escape into the feelings. Escape into the love that this person just randomly brings out in you. It's nice. You can skip the first stages of courting. You don't need to get to know this person that well. You already know them. But in the end, right, didn't work out as well too. Once the real issues in this life come up, right, because there are real dimensions to a relationship in this experience, right, didn't make sense. Same thing. I work with a lot of clients who have gone through the same issue, escaping into these soul connections. They can be dangerous, and they're willing to give up their families. They're willing to give up everything that they know, their values, their principles, because it's a spiritual experience that needs to be answered to. But that is not always the case. This is the process of integration, okay? And there is this concept of twin flames out there. And in my opinion, it can be damaging. And I've been asked by a lot of people, do I believe in twin flames? And I will tell you, I do not have the right answer. But after a few years in the space, my answer right now is no. No. My perception of energy, right, we came from this big energetic self, okay? This notion that this energetic self split into two perfectly with a masculine and feminine component, and they incarnate and they're just trying to get to better. It's once again a little bit of the Disney programming, right? This one true love that'll save us, that'll reflect us, our true love. And in this, we miss the elements of trauma bonding. We miss the toxic patterns. We miss the fact that even if this is a deeper soul connection, this person may be really bad for us. But we neglect it. We push those truths away because they're our twin flame. It's a narrative, it's a spiritual construct. It can be spiritual bypassing that we escape into. This notion that there is only one person that is your true match. And if you don't answer it, which is what I was going through a few years ago, right? When I was just into my awakening in a very vulnerable place, if you don't answer it, you may never get another shot. You may never feel this way about another person again. I don't believe it's true. From what I've seen in a lot of lives and a lot of people that have chased this concept of the twin flame, it has ripped them apart. Acknowledging the feelings, acknowledge the emotions that arise. Try not to label the experience. Get to know the person. Get to know their values. Get to know their principles. Get to know yourself. Get to know who you are, what you want from a partner, what you want from a relationship, right? Those feelings are powerful and they can be healing. But that does not mean that you immediately toss out everything, right? Because this is the one. There is no one. You are the one, right? No one is going to complete you. This is my personal opinion. But these things that I just want to term soul connections, approach them how you would any other relationship. Get to know the person as if you don't know them, because you don't. Whatever the feelings are, it's a beautiful thing, but they're not real anymore. It has to make sense in the here and the now, all right? And these true selves, these true energetic selves, they can be, they're mixed in with a lot of traumas, a lot of cultural conditioning, right? All these different things. And that can get lost over time, right? So you may come into that feeling, that person's true self, but that will evaporate and that will fade as you come into contact with the other aspects of them. And those aspects may be entrenched. And we have to be aware of those. We can't push them away, because then that is when we open ourselves up to abuse and manipulation. The amount of toxic behaviors that I've seen people allow under the guise of a soul connection, past life, romance, twin flame, it's not good. More so than anything else, we need to get to know ourselves. We do need to get to love ourselves. Find that within us. Look, enter into a relationship. You don't need to fully love yourself to enter into a relationship. That's insane. That's ridiculous. Okay? But the more that you become connected to yourself, I think that's the better word, connected, right? The more that you'll be able to better kind of navigate this dimension of experience and approach it cautiously, but still with an open heart. This is about not following your feelings, but being aware of your feelings. Feel free to comment below on what your experience has been with Soul Connections Twin Flames. I hope that my perspective was helpful. And yeah, this is my first video I did. It was just right off the cuff, no script, no anything, so I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.